In this video on the quantum currency matrix, I want to take a look and just pause to consider the use of multiple timeframes and how we can use the currency index to give us a view on what is happening across the timeframes. Now, trading using multiple timeframes is a well-proven technique, and not only can it be applied to chart analysis, but equally it can be applied to indicators such as this. We use it a great deal with the currency strength indicator, where you're looking for a currency which is moving in one direction or another across the time frames, because if you're trading with the broad flow of that particular currency, then the risk, as always it comes back to risk, is lower on the position. Now I can also assure you, as I'm sure you know, that when you're trading in one time frame, then you're always going to be trading counter trend in some higher or lower time frame. It's just a fact of trading life. It's just something we have to accept. So whenever we're using multiple time frames, we always have to bear in mind that the focus is on the time frames under consideration, and that outside of those time frames, maybe in a slower time frame or a faster time frame, then indeed the market may be moving in a counter direction. Now here we've got 6 time frames set up. The standard settings we've got, I've ignored the 1 minute because the currency matrix does move around very fast on the 1 minute. So here we're looking at the 5, the 15, the 30, the 1 hour, the 4 hour and the daily. And we've got a nice picture developing here around the euro, which is why I've isolated that one in particular. And there are several things going on here to give us some clues, information about the currency flows and the potential opportunities for trading. We would be looking at a particular pair, but here we're looking at the broad flows and really what the sentiment is across the various time frames. So let's start with the faster time frames. If we concentrate on the 5, the 15 and the 30 to start with, it's fairly obvious at a first glance on the 5 minute that we have a considerable degree of euro bullish sentiment. In fact, we have all 7 pairs there stacked very neatly at the top, and top of the heap is the euro dollar at 15.3, 15.1, just ticking through there. So on the 5 minute time frame, it's very clear that we have a lot of euro buying. That euro buying is consistent, it's unanimous in the 5 minute time frame, something we considered in one of the earlier videos. Now in addition to that, something else quite interesting on that particular time frame, and indeed also relevant to the slower time frames, if you look at the divergence between the number 1 position, which is currently occupied by the euro dollar, down to the bottom of the index on the 5 minute time frame, you can see there the dollar yen is only minus 7.5 at the moment. So there's quite a big divergence between the bullish sentiment for the euro related pairs and what is the negative sentiment towards the dollar in this time frame. Certainly on the dollar CAD, dollar Swiss and dollar yen, you can see there. And what that's really signaling to us is that the bullish sentiment, if you like, is stronger than the bearish sentiment. It is this divergence between the extremes on the index. Now if we move to the 15 minute time frame, what do we have here? What is this telling us about flow? And really, to use the ripples in the pond analogy, what we're looking for in trading perspective, in terms of trading with the flow, if we're going to take a position around this sort of time frame, then we're looking for that bullish sentiment to ripple through from the 15 and ultimately from the 30. In other words, the positive sentiment in the 5 is then going to be reflected in a further bullish sentiment on the 15-minute time frame in terms of flows into the euro, and ultimately down to our 30-minute chart, assuming this is our spread of field of vision, if you like. And what we're seeing there is we are starting to see quite a degree of this bullish sentiment for the euro filtering its way through into the 15-minute time frame. You can see there on the leaderboard, a lot of the euro-related pairs are starting to climb their way up the ladder. We've only got one slightly negative, which is the Euro New Zealand at the moment. So there does seem to be a degree, quite a strong degree, of bullish euro sentiment flowing in that time frame as well, from the 5 into the 15. On the 15-minute chart, you can see we've got very little divergence in terms of bullish and bearish. The most bullish pair at the moment is New Zealand dollar at 13.1, and down at the bottom we've got dollar CAD at minus 13.1. So we've got an equal balance there, if you like, of bullish and bearish sentiment. But nevertheless, you get this sense, and the analogy we've used previously is of the golf leaderboard, where we have golfers moving up and down the ladder as their scores change, and this is what we're looking for. We're looking for that flow, that movement on the leaderboard, and there you can see we've actually gone, as I'm speaking on the 15-minute, you can see we've gone, well, a couple of drops just below there, but the positive sentiment for the euro seems to be flowing through. And if we go over to the 30-minute, have we got a similar picture there? Quite possibly. There is no guarantee that this sentiment's not going to reverse and everything moves the other way. But what seems to be happening is that we have a positive sentiment for the euro rippling through the 15 and into the 30. We've got a couple of euro pairs there still in red, but that's what you would expect to see. This is not going to happen instantly. The ripple effect will take time to move through the market, and as it does, and gradually the pairs will move from bearish into bullish if you're looking at this sort of move. Then if we move down to our slower time frames just to complete the picture, what do we have here? Well, on the hourly chart you can see that euro positive sentiment once again, but note the divergence. We've got 68 for the euro yen and only minus 35 for the pound Aussie. So there's a big divergence, and it's really signalling that the bullish sentiment is in full flow at the moment. It may change, but at the moment it's very heavily skewed towards bullish sentiment away from bearish right now. Similarly, through to the 4-hourly chart, again we can see we've got the euro positive sentiment starting to filter its way through there as they move up the leaderboard and over onto the daily. And the daily really makes the point in that the sentiment there for the euro right now is heavily bearish. And really this just encapsulates what trading in multiple timeframes is all about. So there we are. That's another way to use the quantum currency matrix indicator, applying it in multiple time frames. The Forex world is complex. We have a huge amount of information that we have to deal with second by second and minute by minute. And what the matrix is trying to do is to give you that information that is important, the information about flows, about strength, about momentum and about direction, and to give you it in a format which is easy and quick to see, and more importantly quick to analyze. The matrix is always used with the charts, but it gives you that global view, if you like, that surround sound view of what is going on in the world of Forex and how the flows are constantly shifting back and forth across the pairs. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and take care and good trading, and bye for now.